7 stages of relationships.
Stage 7, completion. Hi, I'm Bec from Be Free Emotional Fitness Training, and I support women and girls to become emotionally stronger.
And I'm Vern from Move Forward Mentoring, and I specialise in male mentoring, helping boys and men find their passion, speak from their heart, and build better relationships.
And together we are Rekindling Relationships. We work with couples through mentoring sessions as well as facilitating communication and creative workshops to build deeper connections.
Welcome to our podcast, designed to help you strengthen and bring more fun into your partnership, as well as create a more loving, healthy, and strong connection.
Hello everyone.
Hey everyone. So we're at stage 7, completion.
The final stage.
Which is interesting. So we're completing the 7th stage, and that stage is actually called completion.
Yes. It's the stage everyone wants to get to.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Because we were discussing the fact that we knew nothing about these 7 stages until we started researching them to talk about them.
We're just owning it right now.
We're just so owning it. Had no idea in the world, hadn't read an ebook. I was like, oh, that looks like an interesting thing to talk about. And then in looking at it, went, oh, this is actually really interesting. This is something that couples should know.
Yeah, this is really important.
We benefit from learning about this, and so do other people. So we need to talk about it.
Yeah, it's really important. And I can see where I got stuck on a stage or didn't get to the next stage in my long-term marriage. And so it's been really obvious going through this process of talking about the 7 stages of a relationship that we have obviously gone through these stages.
Yeah, we've done these things together. Yeah. And in doing these things together, we have really grown, haven't we, as a couple?
Absolutely. I think once you reach this stage, there is that complete and utter contentment and a deep, intimate relationship with your partner, your soul buddy, if you do it well. You might get people that are in this stage, but they're not happy because they haven't actually done the stages properly.
Yeah, they haven't dealt with conflict, so they're in their later stages
Continually
of life.
Bickering still.
And they're bickering or they're stonewalling each other when they deal with conflict by just avoiding having conversations. Or they don't feel fully committed, they don't feel fully safe.
Connected. You know, that shows you how important it is to navigate those first few stages to get to this stage and be completely content and happy.
And if we knew that this is where we wanted to head, like if I think about, okay, us in the future, where I want us to be is to be in a space, and it's not a place, it's not in a certain type of house or with a certain lifestyle. It's about us being really deeply connected together, that we're just enjoying life together. We don't have children around anymore, so we're older. We just take our time enjoying life, being productive, having as much fun and adventures as possible.
And you've done all the relationship hard work that shouldn't really come up for you anymore.
There's no more resentment.
You've done all the confrontation and working things out and trying to feel secure and navigating where you're going. And you've done all the hard work, I guess.
And if you've done them properly, then you actually now are in a relationship with someone who you don't get angry at or you don't get upset with. You just fully accept each other. And there's an exception of self.
Do you love and like each other as best friends and soulmate? And you can read each other well to what their needs are and your needs are.
Individual needs are important, but there's also an understanding of each other's needs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like we're really committed to making sure the other person is happy and satisfied in this relationship with us. Like we're working on the relationship to the point where now we get to just enjoy the relationship because we've done the work.
You get to have your cake and eat it.
And if that was a goal, like if you're like, right, we're in this relationship, where can we see ourselves? Not in 5 years, but in 20 years, in 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, depending on how old we are. If we can see ourselves at that, you know, what might be called the golden age of just being able to settle into our own lives, not have to have the responsibilities of maybe work and children. So the responsibility the relationship becomes the most priority again. So that becomes the goal of the relationship. Then you start making sure that you do all the things in the relationship so you can both get to that goal. So if you do that, like if you are actually setting goals towards this end goal of having this beautiful, deeply loving, committed relationship, deal with the pain of conflict and all the other stuff that happens, you'll actually go, right, we need to work through each of these stages really well.
Yeah. And like you said, at this stage, you're probably not working anymore. Your kids have left home. Let's hope.
You might be still working and kids are still there, but you could have come to a space where you're like, oh, this is actually, we just get each other. we
true.
have that life now.
Yeah. Well, you've got more space for the relationship too at this stage in time, you would imagine.
If you think that into the future, I think we can have that sort of part of that space now, in the sense that if we have that real deep trust in each other, the closer we get to that full acceptance of each other, then the closer we are to not the completion of a relationship, but the deep connection of one.
And I think this does just come with time too, and work. It's like not skipping a stage of your growth, of the growth of the relationship through all these stages to get to this final beautiful stage.
Yeah, which is a beautiful stage, isn't it? I love that idea of the two of us being at this stage where we are still doing really productive stuff in the world. We'll definitely still be podcasting. We'll be still creating art together. We'll be traveling together. We won't have kids who need to be fed all the time and for some reason running around and like eating everything out of the pantry and, being on the foot,
We'll be
being
doing
lovely,
our
being
mentoring
awesome.
and our workshops and all those things we love to do.
We'll be focusing on how we can together enjoy the world and enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And we have that goal for each other. So I guess that's a great way for us to remember in the day-to-day when things get a bit tough, that's what holds us together, that glue.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking I've seen couples at this stage really beautifully and I've seen couples at this stage not so beautifully.
What's the difference in there?
And, you can see the couples that have done it not so well and they're a little bit resentful of their life or their partner, and they obviously haven't navigated some of the stages well, but they feel like they should stay together because at this point they've been together for ages and they don't hard. That's always a little bit sad to see. But I have seen...
They bicker all the time.
Yeah, though I have seen couples do this really well and they're still beautifully in love, years and years later. And the depth is amazing. Like I had one beautiful neighbour and they were like that in their 70s and 80s at that stage when they were my neighbour, and they were just continually saying beautiful things about each other and how much they loved each other. And she was like so lovely, and she'd always say how much she admired him and she'd always be looking after him and he'd be looking after her, and it was like they were still dating, been together for ages. And she'd give him a cheeky bum squeeze in her 70s and he's like 80.
Awesome.
It's so cute. Yeah, they were so cute together. So I've seen people do it really well too.
And it is possible, isn't it?
It's absolutely possible.
You can have an amazing relationship.
They were the couple I'd look up to. I was like, they've just done an amazing job and they're super happy.
Maybe because we don't see or hear people in the older stages of life talk about their relationship, maybe we don't see that as a possibility.
Well, and
we don't think
sometimes our
about
parents aren't still together ourselves, or our parents are, but they're not particularly happy. And so we don't always see this beautiful stage of deep, old, loving intimacy.
You've had the parents who bicker, and I've had the parents who can't say married to anyone. So I haven't really had some good examples, have we?
Not many of us have.
Not many of us do have.
But it does exist, and I've seen it.
It is possible. Knowing these stages now, I really feel like we can look at each of the times in our life, us personally, and be like, we're on the right path right now. And that's a really nice feeling because that's taken work. Like,
it has.
We haven't come into this and it's been easy.
Oh, no.
No,
it's and a lot of awareness of how relationships work. And I think that is unfortunate that we are expected to know how to hold relationships and navigate them without actually being taught or shown how to do that.
That's really true, isn't it? We give people a license to drive a car and make sure they have like 130 hours before they're even allowed to do it on their own. But people step into a relationship without having any training whatsoever.
No training.
What do we do?
No example, no training.
Work it out. Yeah.
How are you supposed to know how to hold a relationship?
I have no idea.
We don't teach it at school.
No.
We don't really see it that well at home.
And we don't actually know where to look sometimes.
It's not instinctive. And I think you do use your instinct and your gut feelings on things with relationships. But ultimately, we need a manual.
We need a really good manual. Well, we need a manual with pictures because sometimes it's hard to read all the time. Like, I haven't got time for that.
Or listen to a podcast, just saying.
Oh, I heard that rekindling relationships.
Really good.
Nice plug.
Coincidentally, have to be really.
I think if you both realize that you want to be together and you have a conversation about it, then you just keep on having lots and lots of conversations, which help you get through each of those stages. So as you move through stage 1 in passion, you're talking about what you want for each other and yourself. And in stage 2, when you're discovering each other, you're really asking the questions. Who is this person? Am I okay with all the things this person is?
And then the third stage, conflict. So you learn how to navigate conflict well
And then in stage 4, which is that commitment and that deeper trust and commitment, you are having conversations about trust and commitment with that person. So you can deepen into that.
And whether you're wanting to commit to each other.
And then stage 5, which is about that cooperation. When you sort of become more business-like, having to organise things together, then there are conversations about being together. It's about each other still.
Collaborating a life together, raising kids, renovating, working together, whatever that may be.
Making sure that you still put the relationship first. And then stage 6, which is crisis.
Which is about you maybe heading into like a midlife crisis or other events that are out of your control, maybe causing tension in the relationship.
Like something happened that the relationship needs to deal with. Could be a health problem, could be accidents, could be a whole lot of things. Crisis comes up, and then if you have a good connection and a real good foundation and deep commitment, then you're able to weather crisis together.
Yeah.
Which then leads into stage 7.
Which is
completion.
That final beautiful stage of deep, intimate love.
Mature intimacy. Thank you so much for listening. Look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Stay tuned.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and follow us.
And check out our website at rekindlingrelationships.com.
Bye for now.
See ya.